Hello and welcome. I'm Gargi Rawat and you're watching me on youtube.com/NDTV, and here we ask you about the stories that you want to know more about. Take a look at the pick of the top 5 stories that we had on the channel today. Shots fired at AAP candidates' open car, party worker killed. This is a shocking story that took place last night when shots were fired as an Aam Aadmi Party MLA actually was returning from a temple visit. His party worker was killed. Arvind Kejriwal swearing in on Friday 14th or 16th. That meeting will be held today and we're expecting an announcement shortly regarding when Arvind Kejriwal swearing in will take place. It was a resounding mega win yesterday when the numbers came in 62 out of 70 seats won by the Aam Aadmi Party. Omar Abdullahs' sister's plea in the top court today. Now, Omar Abdullahs' sister, Sarah Pilot, has approached the Supreme Court demanding that the charges against her brother be dropped under the PSA and also that he be produced before the Supreme Court. So that'll be interesting to see. And remember, this is something that will affect many other leaders from Jammu and Kashmir, as many leaders have been kept under arrest under the PSA Public Security Act. Also, Tamil Nadu NEET scam impersonators identified, and this is regarding the admission scam to medical colleges, where apparently there were proxies who went and took the exams for certain candidates, and now the Tamil Nadu police has actually released some 10 photographs of who they suspect are people who actually were these proxies and wrote the exams. And Donald Trump aims for the right trade deal with India, and he talks about his upcoming India visit. He's going to be visiting end of the month around 24th, and he says that he's expect that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said there'll be millions of people to greet him when he arrives in Ahmedabad and goes across to the stadium. And also, when asked about whether there's going to be a trade deal, is that on the cards during his India visit, he said, well, if it's the right deal, then we will look into it. So let's take a look at the top story, which is shots fired at Naresh Yadav's open car after the Delhi election win, and a volunteer has been killed. Now, the volunteer is somebody called Ashok Mann, who was accompanying Mr. Yadav, and this is after the victory and after he had gone to a temple when suddenly shot. He says he heard something like a cracker going off behind him, and behind him the worker got shot, and he was two people actually got shot, and one of them actually succumbed to his injuries. That is Ashok Mann, and another person has also been injured in this entire incident. However, the Delhi police claim that Mr. Yadav was not the target of the shooters, and it has something to do with a personal rivalry that Ashok Mann had with somebody else, and that is the reason for the shooting. So while it does sound extremely sinister, and the fact that an Aam Aadmi Party MLA's convoy gets shot at, however, here you can see the tweet by the Aam Aadmi Party: shots fired at AAP MLA Naresh Yadav and the volunteers accompanying him while they were on their way back from the temple. At least one volunteer has passed away due to bullet wounds, another is injured. So now the update is that 3 people have been arrested, and the Delhi police claim it's not to do with Mr. Yadav personally. It's more to do with that supporter who got killed, and that there was some kind of personal enmity issue regarding him. So we're going to wait for more information on that. But yes, extremely worrying and sinister, and of course AAP raising the issue of law and order situation in Delhi. Remember, that remains a contentious issue for the AAP during their last 5 years as well, because the Delhi police remain under the center. And once again, an opportunity for the Aam Aadmi Party just after their resounding victory yesterday to talk about the law and order situation. Now, it was a mega victory yesterday for Arvind Kejriwal, and today he has called a meeting at around 11:30. That meeting will take place at his residence when it's expected that all the MLAs will be attending that meeting, and they will vote for their legislative party leader, which is of course expected to be Arvind Kejriwal himself. And we are also expecting to hear about when the swearing-in ceremony will take place. They'll make it a big show, and it may take place at the Ram Leela Maidan. It could be either on the 14th of February or on the 16th is what we're hearing. And also, of course, lots of conversations around government formation, who's going to get what portfolio, who are going to be the ministers in this next government of Arvind Kejriwal. So the Aam Aadmi Party there now moving forward and regarding all their issues of government formation. And of course, who we are expecting, Manish Sisodia, of course, who was the Deputy Chief Minister earlier, and maybe he will continue in that position. Atishi has won the election and she's an MLA now, so many speculating whether she will be the Education Minister, given that that is what she worked on, even though she didn't have a formal position in terms of being a minister or an MLA, but that was what she worked on in the last 5 years of the Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi, and perhaps she will continue to work on that. Raghav Chadda, another known face of the Aam Aadmi Party, also winning his election yesterday, so many anticipating that perhaps he will also get some very important cabinet or portfolio. Now, let's just take a look at some of the celebratory memes that the Aam Aadmi Party shared. And here you can see the Aam Aadmi Party reacting to winning, and with this meme saying, "Hum jeet gaye." And of course, there are lots of other memes like this being shared by others. And here is another one, an emotional meme, of course, Shah Rukh Khan there. And Aam Aadmi Party, tweeting emotions right now after that massive victory that they had. And interesting, they have the India flag. They remember Kapil Mishra of the BJP had said that on the 8th of February, it's going to be India versus Pakistan, because he was talking about Shaheen Bagh. And that was a lot of, the target of the campaign, trying to make it a divisive issue about India versus Pakistan. But here, emotions right now, says the Aam Aadmi Party. Another important story that we will be tracking is that Omar Abdullah's sister, Sara Abdullah Pilot, her plea is going to be taken up by the Supreme Court today, and she's challenged her brother's detention, and she says it's a part of that the detention is a violation of the constitutional right to freedom of speech, and is part, she says, of a consistent and concerted effort to muzzle all political rivals. So that will be taken up by the Supreme Court today. It'll be interesting to see what the Supreme Court decides, because NDTV has also reported about the kind of allegations that have been made against Mr. Omar Abdullah under the PSA, and some of them talk about his popularity among the people and how he can, get a lot of people out onto the streets or out to vote despite any sort of violence and militancy in the state, which seems quite absurd, to say the least, that these be allegations against a minister, against a leader, and these are the allegations over which you are keeping him under detention. Because remember, they were under arrest for 6 months since the August 5th, and then when that lapsed on after the 6 months were over and we were expecting perhaps they would be released, is when the government slapped these charges of PSA, and now it has been challenged by his sister, Sara Pilot there, and she has claimed that the government tries to, confusing the issue by making it seem as if the government and criticism of the government is criticism of India. And she calls she says the petition. Her petition says that the dossier against her brother is patently false and ridiculous material, essentially accusing him of becoming a popular figure among the general masses and possessing considerable influence over people. So these are the allegations: his ability to garner votes even during peak militancy and poll boycotts. And she also cites his ability to, bring out voters despite a boycott call by separatists. The capacity of the subject to influence people for any cause can be gauged from the fact that he was able to convince electorate to come out and vote in huge numbers, even during peak of militancy and poll boycott. So those are the allegations against Omar Abdullah, and they sound absolutely absurd given that he is a popular leader there, and of course he will be able to, get people to come out and vote, and but that is one of the allegations against him. It'll be interesting really to see what the Supreme Court decides, because remember, even Mehbooba Mufti, another former chief minister, is also is still in detention, and she has under arrest, and she has PSA against her as well, and her dossier also is full of several absurd allegations, including how she is her daddy's daughter or something, favorite daughter or something on those lines. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on this case. And the other big story, Donald Trump talking about his upcoming India visit, and he talks about how the Indian Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, is a gentleman and a friend of his, and he says that he has been told by Prime Minister Modi that when he arrives in Ahmedabad and he makes his way to the stadium which they will be visiting, that there will be 5 to 6 million people on the roads, 5 to 7 million people on the roads from the airport to the stadium. And he sounded extremely excited at the prospect of being greeted by millions and millions of people. And he says that he's looking forward to his India visit. And when he was asked about whether he's willing to sign a trade deal with India, he said that the Indians want to do something. We'll see. If we can make the right deal, we will do it. So that is what he said ahead of his visit, and also very excited about the millions of people who are going to be greeting him on the streets. Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.